It's hot out there. Let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline,
This is RamView, the December 12th, 2012, December 13th, 2025 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Need help? Got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. Click on that QR code, KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, by Sports Ball Games. Make game day funner for you and your crew. Play sports ball. Play for a hill of beans or jelly beans. I got a bunch of people that must be cronky wanting to know my pick. Also, Game Day in the Ram Cave. Be sure to check out a copy. It's available on Amazon. Keeps the kid in business. All right. So we're going to make this fast. I apologize for not being on yesterday. I got to check some email. Evan Hotz, he sent me some great stuff. But it's a holiday season, and my job just is my job during the holiday season. And I got the wife pressing me with the honeydew list this morning. So we're going to knock this thing out as quick as possible. Let's do some notes real quick here. Real quick, no surprise, Rams re-signed Nick Hampton to the practice squad. We speculated on this when they put him in the street, and he circles back around. Good for him. He was good enough to get snaps. And if you're getting snaps, you're not Ochawan Mathis, right? And so good for him getting back on this roster. And then the other thing that was released the other day was what next year's salary cap situation looks like. And I thought that would have been really cool to take a look at. So I downloaded that, and I'll put that on the board here real quick. You see the teams with massive numbers, the Titans, the Raiders. Good news for the Chargers there with their team right now. The Jets, money to spend, right? The Texans. And then right there at number 6, the Rams have 81.4 rocks to spend on salary cap, let alone all their draft picks. They have really maneuvered themselves into a great place. The other one here is this is the back half of it. The Eagles, Giants, you see it all the way down here. Who's in a bad spot? Browns, they're still suffering for the sins of Deshaun Watson. The Bills there at 26, and they've got issues. So they better make sure they hit on the draft. Saints have issues because they haven't gotten rid of Demario Davis. They haven't gotten rid of Alvin Kamara. They needed to make those moves. Dolphins have issues because they made all the wrong decisions, so they got to hit in the draft. And then, of course, you got the Vikings and the Chiefs, and I cut it off before we got to everyone else there. But those are some teams that are in serious, especially Kansas City, that are in serious trouble. But you look at the Rams with their full complement of picks, and there are times you go, man, I wish they would have made a move at the break. So they have all their draft capital, and they got 81 rocks. And if you look at for between 8 and 9, you can see where it drops off after the Bengals was 70, and it drops off down to 49 with the Patriots. Also, remember the Bengals this year, the big deal was Trey Hendrickson, right? He wanted that big, huge extension, and most of us were thinking give it to him. Bengals held back. Hendrickson got a 1-year, 30-rock deal guaranteed, and he's been a bust this year. So really, really nice move there for the Bengals going forward. Let's see, USA Expat. Morning, Joe. When aggressive play crosses the line into late hits and dirty play, you have the Lions' MO. The refs need to be on their game versus this highly penalized team. Well, their two most aggressive guys, Kirby Joseph, he's out this week, and Brian Branch is out and probably until maybe the middle of next year with his torn Achilles. So the Rams should be in good shape in that regard. All right, let's take a look at things that what to watch for. I touched on this on Wednesday, but I think it bears to be boiled down. Rams interior line versus Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader. This is what I want to watch because I don't trust them. Because if they can't get a push on those guys, it's going to be a little harder for Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. And also it's going to open things up for the rush on the edge. So this is where we're going to find out about the issues here. What I think is an issue, and I hope it's not, is Coleman Shelton and Steve Avila. And I'm not worried about Kevin Dotson, but that's what I'm thinking about here is you see they're going to go against Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader. Also, I'm not out on this guy, but it is a significant challenge there to be hit and have to deal with Aiden Hutchinson, and that's Warren McClendon at right tackle. Hutchinson's going to be working him. We're going to find out. I think Hutchinson's going to get his, but see if he gets them against McClendon. See if he stunts and loops around and comes up the middle. See if he moves over to Larrick Jackson's side. See if he's one of those guys you're going to put him anywhere. He doesn't necessarily have to line up over Warren McClendon, but in the general base scheme of things, he would be over McClendon. So keep an eye on that. The other one, I think you guys brought this up, is to keep an eye on is Landman and Spates versus Gibbs and Montgomery. Now, at some point, Gibbs and Montgomery, they're going to hit the second level. They're going to get past the line of scrimmage via pass or something or break through the line. And then that's where can Landman and Spates, can they contain these guys to just large gains instead of huge gains? And that will have be a huge deciding factor tomorrow. The Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Jamison Williams versus our corners. Who matches up on who? And we'll see how that looks. Everyone focuses on Amon-Ra, the USC product, but Jamison Williams is having a great year. And so he's the burner. So we'll see. Good that we have a killer. Good there's depth. Darius Williams is expected to be back as well. And then finally, without Kirby Joseph, without Brian Branch, without Terry and Arnold, the Lions secondary versus the Rams passing attack, which again, that plays off of how does Aiden Hutchinson do against Warren McClendon? That's going to be huge. Also, the Rams passing attack is how does the interior line do against Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader? Because if we all know this, it's redundant to say, you sound like a member of the KBM when you say it, is if you don't knock Stafford down, he's going to tear you apart. And finally, the last thing I wanted to add is our defense. The Rams defense needs to get home. Not kind of home. They need to get home. And they put pressure, but the last few weeks they really haven't racked up the sack totals, and they need to finish on some of these plays. Just make sure when the Lions go for it on fourth down, it's 4th and 5 instead of 4th and 2. So anyway, we got that out. All right, cool. Rams remaining schedule is you got the Lions tomorrow. You got the Seahawks on Thursday. I've shared how I think that's a good thing. And then you got the Falcons on Monday night. And we want to say thank you to the Buccaneers for not doing the Rams a favor. They couldn't just hold on against the Falcons. That was pathetic. And of course, BJ Robinson kind of shows he's the premier back in the league. But Falcons commit 3 dozen turnovers on penalties, and they still win that game. That was an awful game by the Buccaneers. Falcons now 5-9. I think the Rams will be out of the top 10 if they're not already in next year's draft. So that sucks. And then, of course, the Cardinals come to SoFi, and that could be Jonathan Gannon's last game because things have not gone well there in Arizona. All right, let's keep working our way through here real quick. Hot seat. We've talked about Pete Carroll. We added Raheem Morris. Mike Tomlin might not be fired, but he might be going. Mike McDaniel, guy's still surviving. He's going to get this team on Monday night. They get the Steelers without TJ Watt. He's going to get the Dolphins to 7-7. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they could end up with a winning record. And this kid could keep his job. You want to add 2 people to this list? If the Bills get their butts kicked in New England, I think Sean McDermott could get Tony Dungy. And what I mean by Tony Dungy, Dungy was the guy that brought respectability back to the Buccaneers organization, got them playing for, getting playoff wins, going to the conference finals, and just couldn't get them over the hump. They kicked them to the curb, and John Gruden used the team that Dungy helped assemble to win a Super Bowl. And fortunately, he got one later with the Colts. But but I really do think Sean McDermott could be in trouble. And you saw the salary cap woes the Bills are in next year. And then I just wanted to add Todd Bowles to this list, right? Todd Bowles, not because of the expletive tirade, but just this thing has fallen apart there. This guy's been consistently going to the playoffs. He's a good coach. I like him. And I'm glad for once on this one was Todd Bowles basically called out his players. You know, I get sick of it when it's always, well, I got to do better too. No, sometimes your players suck. And they were terrible protecting Baker Mayfield on Monday night. And their defense was horrible. And the other thing that makes me curious about that Monday night game, that Thursday night game was I thought the Tampa Bay offensive line looked worse against the Falcons pass rush than they did against the Rams pass rush. So the Rams got to play that pass rush of the Falcons. Now, again, Rams should beat the Falcons, but a pass rush can disrupt a lot of things and make things closer than they should. So that was a little curious because I thought that Falcon pass rush looked a lot better against that Buccaneer offensive line with Tristan Wirth, with all their guys there. So that was something that kind of stuck out to me. But add Todd Bowles to that list. And when he's fired, Ryan Clark will screen racism along with Jameel Hill. Maybe they'll get their own show together. The other thing here I wanted to mention was Bijan Robinson. Did you see him sitting there on the dais there with the Thursday night crew? Mentioned in a smiling laugh saying it was like playing Smear the Queer. And no one, at least what I saw, no one really buckled and got all worked up about it, but they just kept pressing on. And, I didn't care. I really didn't care. We're too soft as a generation as it is. And I played Smear the Queer. That's what we called it. And it's mainly because the name rhymed, right? So the part that bothered me was, the kid said it. Who cares? But the part that bothered me was they forced him into an apology. And lesson number one that you need to know when you're dealing with the KBM is never apologize, because your apology will never, ever be enough. There we go. Mercedes Lewis is re-signed by Denver. He keeps getting a paycheck in season 55. And Cam Akers, former Ram, I think we mentioned this before, was released in Seattle. There we go. All right. I like the Rams 34-27. Tim Burns, the great Tim Burns, likes the Rams 41-35. As long as it's a win, Chief. As long as it's a win. Steve Ramirez, I think just need to rattle Goff, who becomes a subcar quarterback under any kind of pressure. I'll agree with you on that. I just want to see someone get knocked down. Steeler fan Rob comes back. Not Steeler fan Rob, I'm sorry. The great Tim Burns. Absolutely hitting Goff early is the key to disrupt his timing. All right. Let's see. USA expat. Rams game plan could center around wearing down the defense and keeping ours fresh. Yeah, that's again, I know I'm being a little doom and gloom. I might be a little Travis Rogers here, but I want to see them get a push. He's come back from injury this year. Maybe he's not playing the best of his career. I like Aleem McNeil. I do. And DJ Reader is 335 pounds of beef. And I just want to see Coleman Shelton get some push. That's all, right? I just want to see them get some push there. And that's where my doubts raise up. Manny Vasquez, Rams 34-23. All right. I like that one. Rams get over 30 and we hold the Lions to under 30. What I want, and also it would be marvelous if it's not a one-score game. I couldn't bring myself to say it wouldn't be a one-score game. Let's see here. Steve Ramirez, Rams 35, Lions 31. Goff sack, lost fumble, ends game. All right. I like the sack. Can that sack, lost fumble happen like at the Detroit 18 and not have Goff have the Lions in position to win the game like he did in 2021, and it took a Jalen Ramsey interception at the goal line? I don't want to sweat that much, right? I don't want to sweat that much. All right, let's keep rolling here because we're on Saturday time. Real quick here. I took the Buccaneers. Yeah, and so I'm 0-1. I've really had a bad stretch. these people, unbelievable. Who are they? There we go. All right. Let's see if that works. All right. Sunday, December 14th, tomorrow, Browns at Bears. Cleveland could do us all a solid, but I doubt they will. Ravens at Bengals. T. Higgins is out. I'm not counting the Bengals out. It's just hard to believe in the Ravens, right? It's hard to believe in the Ravens. Now, the Ravens can survive this. They can go to 6-8 because I strongly believe the Steelers are going to fall to 7-8. So that'll keep their game meaningful against the Steelers in another week. Cardinals at Texans. Houston just needs to stay healthy. It's going to be a blowout. Jets at Jaguars. Jaguars should win easily. Tyrod Taylor is out. Chargers at Chiefs. Of course, I took the Eagles last week and the Chargers won. And in other times, I've taken the Chargers, right? And we know what happens. Common sense, when you look at this, says take the Bolts, right? The reality of it will be it'll be the Chiefs. I'm still going with the Chargers because you have to kind of run with common sense to defend yourself. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. Bills at Patriots. As I said, a bad loss, and Sean McDermott could get Tony Dungy. Texans at Giants. Nope. I think Dan Quinn's ready to go on the hot seat. A bad loss here. He might already be there, but that move bringing Jaden Daniels back was no one's coming after him for. At least I haven't seen it. Yeah, I'm taking Giants in this one. Raiders at Eagles. Raiders starting Kenny Pickett. The Eagles meltdown will be in full flower if somehow the Raiders win this one, which I don't think they will. Packers going to the Broncos. At some point, youth happens, and I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. Lions at Rams. Of course, we're taking the Rams. Panthers at Saints. Saints are dangerous, but Carolina has an opportunity. We're going to find out how serious they are, right? Can you imagine you beat the Packers, you beat the Rams, and then right now when you got a chance to really take a firm grip on first place in the NFC South, you go to New Orleans and you swallow the jalapeno? That would be awful. That would just be disgusting. Titans at 49ers, we can hope, but I don't think it's going to happen. Fog City, the fog will not abate. They're going to keep going. Colts at Seahawks, I love the story. But Braden Smith is out, one of their tackles. And yeah, I'd love to see that story happen, but it's not. Take the Seahawks against the Colts. Vikings at Cowboys. Philly keeps the door open for a Dallas hopes. It's really a long shot, but Dallas should crush the Vikings. And then, of course, Monday night, Dolphins at Steelers. TJ Watt, collapsed lung, most likely out. Last I heard, he was still in the hospital. And, I've always been a Dolphin fan, huh? Duriel Harris lives 7-7. I hate the Dolphins, but I can't see them losing. Now, unless it's an absolute snowstorm, but I don't know. I just don't know. Because everyone talks about Tua in the cold, which is justifiable. All right, let's keep moving along here. All right, cool. I'm not missing anything there. Let's do a little bit of Rams history.
It was a stone groove, my man.
A longtime RamView follower, Evan Hott, said they really like Stone Groove. Now, I don't know if you guys like Stone Groove for the content that comes after it, or you just like hearing.
It was a stone groove, my man.
I'm thinking about adding Stone Groove.
It was a stone groove, my man.
That when Rams beat the Lions and I come back either Sunday night or Monday morning, I come back with.
It was a stone groove, my man.
For Victory Monday. All right. Yesterday, December 12th, 2016, the Rams put Jeff Fisher in the street. Am I allowed to mention Jeff Fisher if it's talking about his firing? I know Mr. Burns doesn't want me to. But this is one date I've always remembered. Do you remember how much the Rams struggled in November, right, of 2021? Everyone got off the bandwagon. Rams were 0-3 in November, and everything was going bad. And then they had to go play the Cardinals on this date in 2021, December 13th. And so on this date, the Rams were forced to activate cornerback Kareem Orr from the practice squad. Jalen Ramsey was put in COVID protocol on the way or before leaving Phoenix to Phoenix. Andrew Whitworth was out. Rams were 8-4. Cardinals were 10-2. And Orr was an undrafted free agent out of Chattanooga who had bounced around the league. He was called up from the practice squad. He played 40 snaps. 40 snaps, was in on 4 tackles, but more importantly, he didn't get torched. The Rams won 30-23 and started their Super Bowl run. I thought that was awesome. The following week, Orr played on special teams, and then he was gone. His last NFL action. That was a huge game in Arizona. It was a huge game, and the NFL was just kind of deciding, well, he's in protocol. Well, he has a defective eyelid. He needs to have COVID testing or something. We knew what the madness was at the time, but Kareem Orr coming up, and people were really worried, and he held his own. 40 snaps, 4 tackles, didn't get torched. We should all remember players like Kareem Orr who do those small contributions that keep us alive in a season. All right. Man, a lot of you guys are here. Let's see. Steeler fan Rob. Watt is home and the Steelers are going to win. They'll win if it's a snowstorm or an ice storm. Are you really going to trot TJ Watt out there a week after surgery for a procedure for a collapsed lung? Sounds very Steeler-like to me. Micah Gutierrez. I trust December Stafford to give us the win, but hoping the defense makes his life easy tomorrow. Yeah, I would too, right? And again, I wouldn't be wanting to do this game for payback. I want this game for what we say, just to get it in the win column, get it up, get it out of the way, and on to Seattle, right? On to Seattle. The good news is, because of the history between these teams since the trade, I don't think they're looking past the Lions, right? I don't get worked up about the Lions. I know a lot of you guys do, and that's okay. But I don't think the Rams are going to overlook the Lions, and so they're going to play hard. They're going to play to win. They're going to come out strong. I really believe that, and I think barring any kind of an injury and being banged up, they're going to come out and be ready to play on Thursday night. So I am thinking probably this week I will do a Tuesday show. So let's see. They don't need him to win this game. Okay. Yeah, all you need is an official to say a touchdown didn't count in the end zone. That's all the Steelers need, right? You're right. All the Steelers need are the guys in striped shirts saying Likely's catch didn't work. So there you go. Okay, guys, I got to run. I got to go do my job, take care of things. God bless. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry it was a short show, but hey, it is a Saturday.